Song Seung Heon. A life built on discipline, responsibility, and quiet endurance. A man who belongs to time, not to trends. In the history of the Korean wave, there are many stars who shined brightly and disappeared just as quickly. But only a few chose a different path. A slower path. A harder path. A path built not on excitement, but on discipline, responsibility, and long-term self-respect. Song Seung Heon is one of those rare names. For more than a quarter of a century, his career has not been defined by scandals, nor by aggressive self-promotion, but by endurance, correction, and a quiet sense of dignity. This video tells the full story of Song Seung Heon, from birth to the present, from rise to fall, from mistake to redemption, and more importantly, from a young man shaped by circumstances to a mature man who chose principles over convenience. Birth, family background, and early life. Song Seung Heon was born on the 5th of October 1976 in South Korea. He grew up in a very ordinary middle-class family, far away from the world of celebrities and entertainment. There was nothing in his childhood that suggested a future in acting. The household emphasized discipline, manners, and personal responsibility. These values were not taught through words, but through daily routine and quiet example. As a child, he was known to be calm, reserved, and polite, not particularly rebellious, not attention-seeking, not someone who needed to be the center of a room. This early environment created something that would later become his strongest personal trait: self-control, education, and the formation of his character. Like most Korean students of his generation, his early years were shaped by a strict education system. School life was not about dreams or creativity, it was about endurance, structure, and learning how to survive pressure. During these years, Song Seung Heon developed a personality that valued order, consistency, and restraint. Friends from that period later described him as someone who did not talk much, but always listened. Someone who did not rush decisions, but took responsibility once a choice was made. At that time, there was still no clear plan to enter the entertainment industry. The future seemed ordinary and safe. Entry into the Korean entertainment industry. The first turning point came in the mid-1990 seconds. In 1995, Song Seung Heon was discovered and began working as a model for commercials and fashion. Tall, well-proportioned, and possessing very classical features, he quickly attracted attention in advertising. In 1996, he officially made his acting debut in the sitcom 3 Guys and 3 Girls. At this stage, acting was not yet a passion. It was simply an opportunity. But opportunities, when taken seriously, can become destinies. Career development and defining roles. The real breakthrough came in the year 2000. That year, Song Seung Heon starred in the television drama Autumn in My Heart. The series became a massive hit, not only in Korea, but across Asia. It was one of the earliest works that defined the Korean wave. Overnight, his name became known throughout the region. The image of a gentle, tragic, romantic male lead was deeply engraved into public memory. From 2000 to 2004, his career entered a golden period. Projects like Summer Scent in 2003 further strengthened the image of a classic Korean leading man. At that time, he was not just popular. He was one of the faces that represented Korean dramas to the entire Asian market. Awards and professional recognition. Following this explosive success, Song Seung Heon received numerous popularity awards and recognition from broadcasting networks and industry events in the early 2000s. While critics sometimes viewed him as a visual actor, the public response was undeniable. He had become a symbol, not just of beauty, but of a certain type of emotional storytelling that defined an era of Korean television. Military service and the career interruption. Then came the most serious crisis of his life. In 2004, it was revealed that Song Seung Heon had been involved in an attempt to avoid mandatory military service. In South Korea, this is not a small mistake. It is a moral issue. Public reaction was severe. His career stopped immediately. His image collapsed. At the peak of popularity, everything disappeared. In November 2004, Song Seung Heon publicly apologized and enlisted in the military. From 2004 to 2006, he served as an ordinary soldier. No privileges, no special treatment. This period completely changed his life. When he returned in 2006, the public did not see the same person. There was more silence in his eyes, more weight in his presence, more seriousness in his choices. Personal life and past relationships. Despite long-standing fame, Song Seung Heon has always maintained an unusually private personal life. For most of his career, he avoided public discussion of relationships, choosing to keep romance strictly separate from his work and public image. One of the few relationships that was officially confirmed to the public was with actress Choi Ji-woo. In the early 2000s, when both were at the peak of their popularity, their relationship was acknowledged by their agencies, making it one of the rare openly recognized celebrity couples of that era. At the time, their pairing attracted enormous attention from both the media and fans, as they represented two of the most iconic faces of the first generation of the Korean wave. However, after some time, the relationship quietly came to an end, and both returned to keeping their private lives out of the spotlight. More than a decade later, another widely known relationship became public. Around 2015, Song Seung Heon began dating Chinese actress Liu Yifei, whom he met during the filming of The Third Way of Love. Their relationship quickly became a major topic in both Korean and Chinese media, drawing intense public interest across Asia. Despite the attention and expectations from fans, the couple officially confirmed their separation in 2018. Since then, Song Seung Heon has not publicly acknowledged any serious romantic relationship. From that point onward, his private life has once again returned to complete silence, reinforcing the long-established image of a man who chooses discretion over publicity and distance over unnecessary exposure. Why has he not gotten married yet? Over the years, many fans have asked the same question. Why is Song Seung Heon still unmarried? In several interviews, he explained that he does not want to treat marriage as an obligation or a schedule. He believes that marriage should come naturally, at the right time, with the right person. Another reason is personality. He is someone deeply used to discipline, routine, and control over personal life. Letting someone completely enter that world is not an easy decision. Career and current life. From 2006 onward, his career took a different direction. Less romance, more mature roles. Projects like East of Eden, Black, Player, and later works showed a clear effort to move away from the old image and into more complex characters. Today, Song Seung Heon no longer chases trends. He works selectively, lives quietly, maintains strict self-management, and keeps his private life almost completely away from the media. Assets, income, real estate, and lifestyle. After more than 25 years in the industry, Song Seung Heon has built significant financial stability. He owns several properties in Korea, including high-value real estate in Seoul. His total assets are estimated to be in the tens of millions of dollars. However, his lifestyle is known to be relatively restrained. He enjoys luxury cars and quality living, but never displays excessive extravagance. Wealth, in his case, is a tool for stability, not for showing off. Commentary. The meaning of this life. Song Seung Heon's story is not the story of a perfect man. It is the story of a man who made a serious mistake and chose to pay for it properly. Not with words, but with time, with discipline, with silence. In an industry that often forgets yesterday, he chose to build something that lasts longer than trends. A reputation, a sense of responsibility, a quiet form of dignity. And that, in the end, is far more valuable than any peak of fame.